Good evening, folks. This is Pierre-André Mathieu again, and I'm going to show you how I fix the enemy AI system. Let me show you what I have here. As you see here, we have two enemies here, and they're focusing solely on the player. They're locking on as they're moving, and they're attacking using the Prid string, which is good enough for me. I'm going to show you how I fix all that stuff and how I got rid of the error as you seen on my last tutorial. So, going inside the enemy AI controller, first things first, I have to do something about the behavior tree. So, as you can see here, I have character blueprint, and it's using the enemy AI. And from the enemy AI, I add a unique. And that unique is the enemies from Get Player Game Mode, which I have here on my last tutorial. Then we have another add unique, which is AI characters, and that comes from the AI manager, which comes from the enemy AI, and you know. The next, it's the enemy AI tick. Now, as you can see here, I have is valid input. What it does for the enemy AI is that it determines whether or not we have our enemy AI, which is the character blueprint here. If it is valid, then we should be able to set the value as bool. And of course, we've already set this up on our previous tutorial. However, if for some reason that the enemy AI isn't valid, then all we have to do is copy this and paste. Then after that, we have to connect the not valid to cast character blueprint. From there, we connect this node to set value as bool. This way, we won't have any more problems when utilizing such things. Now, let's open up our blueprint. Behavior tree, because I want to show you something about the random walk. Previously, we were using get random reachable point in radius, but what we actually need is get random location in navigable radius. And for this radius, we have to set it up to 500. After that, we have to finish the execution. If for some reason the cast is failing, then we just finish the execution immediately. Right there. We need to leave both of these on check mark to see if it's true. Now, as you can see within our enemy animation blueprint, I just utilized this to handle everything that we've built here on our previous tutorial. Of course, you can change it to get validated get. It works too. For now, we're just gonna use this. Anyway, if we go to our enemy blueprint, okay. If we go to our enemy blueprint, you'll see how I set up here. Okay. Let me disconnect it. Let me disconnect this just to show you how I got the enemy to look at the player character. First and foremost, we have to get our player character. Then we get our character blueprint. From this, we have to set the lock target. And we're going to set is locked on. And lastly, what we need is the target button. Once we have all of that, then all we have to do is connect this to the event begin play. Well, through the parent begin play to be exact. This is how we have our enemies looking at the player properly. Like what we're seeing right now here. Let me do something here. As you can see here, our enemies we killed 2 enemies. And we don't have a death animation in which we're going to fix. That I promise you. Now, going back to the damage system within our character blueprint, as you can see from the very bottom, from this bottom here, I fixed the issue. Now, if I were to connect this, it's going to end up with a lot of problems. Like what we have here. And it leads to an error. So in order to correct that issue, the link from this must be in order to correct that issue, the link from this must come for each loop before this loop. That way, the player can switch its enemy target once the current target is dead. Speaking of which, let's add in a death animation, shall we? Okay. We'll use this for now. Let's see if this works. There we go. There's one more thing we need to fix before I close off this tutorial video. As you can see here, the enemy is getting up, but not in terms of, say, animation. We need to fix that issue. So going to third person, we're going to add in a new notification. Okay. Now we have to determine if the character has enough health to get up. So if the vitality is greater than equal to 100, then and only then the character should be able to get up, recovering himself from the damage he sustained. Let's promote this to a variable. And call this get up and a montage. Okay. We got that. don't have that animation. So we're just going to have... Oh, I'm sorry. Since we don't have that animation, we might as well build one. Okay. Let's change this to... There. Okay, let's test it out. Nothing seems to be working. I wonder. I think I know what to do from here. Something is definitely not right here. There we go. But we need to make sure that this guy is not by under any circumstances moving when he is down. To do that, we need a buffer start and able to. Because we have to make sure that this guy isn't doing anything of the sort. Well, except maybe the berserker mode. Let's see if that works. There we go. Now we have ourselves a good... Now we have ourselves a fully functional, good enemy AI system. Now, before I close this video, I would like to say, again, I'm sorry that I took too long in my previous tutorial because I'm doing what I can to correct mistakes on that tutorial. Secondly, if this tutorial took too long too, that I'm also sorry. For my next tutorial, we're going to give our enemy some unique set of attacks and, well, change the lock targets. Well, and by that I mean adding an input that allows us to change lock on targets. And also, we're going to be adding an enemy health bar so that way we know that our enemy is taking damage and our enemy is dying. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for future tutorials like this. And as I said always, what you take and learn from me is yours to do with as you see fit. Peace out and have a good day. Thank you.